We are back with the coach and Bryan Hayes, and we're going to play a little game here. It's pretty easy. Basically, I'm going to name a team. Hayes, you're going to tell me if they're real or not, and then Bruce here is going to critique every single answer, so good luck with that. Let's start with the Edmonton Oilers. Real or not?
Real, absolutely real. I mean, we've seen this for years now, right, Bruce, in terms of what they've been building towards. They are a very, very deep team. They can score with anyone. They can skate with anyone. They can check with anyone. Defensively, I still think they need to improve a little bit between now and the trade deadline. I think they will make that improvement. Stuart Skinner, he is hot, he is cold, but come playoff time again last year, he proved he is capable of getting the job done. They have a vigilante now in Connor McDavid, right? Everything's moving in the right direction. They are for real. They can win a Stanley Cup this year.
Well, I mean, you said it. It's, to me, they're real and not real at the same time. And I'm not playing both ends against the fence. You said if they make a move at the trade deadline,
yeah.
I don't think they're good enough defensively to win the Stanley Cup. I think they're good enough to win one round, maybe two rounds. But when you get into that third round, you better be solid defensively. I think they need to make that trade at the trade deadline. And I don't think Klingberg is the answer.
No, he's not. I'll grant you that. That is not real. Yeah. That is for sure. Klingberg is not the answer.
Let's face it. He was bad in Dallas. He was bad in Toronto, and he wasn't very good in Anaheim. I don't know why they expect him to be great now. Sorry.
Maybe Klingberg's not real at the moment.
Right.
We will wait and see how that blue line goes for the Oilers. Let's talk about one of Bruce's old teams, the first place Washington Capitals. Real or not real?
Not
Hayes?
real. Not real, Bruce.
Oof.
I cannot buy in quite yet. I know they've been the hottest team in the East. They might win the President's Trophy here, but it's too quick for me in terms of youth up front. Alex Ovechkin, I don't know if he can do it every other night, right? He is chasing Gretzky right now. He's been really, really good. I don't know if he can do it every other night in terms of dominance. I love the size that they have. Logan Thompson's been great. Can Logan Thompson, a goalie that's unproven in the playoffs, win 16 games in the spring? I can't get to that point yet.
Well, they're real. I do the Caps pre and post games, and a lot of times, and they're like robotic. They play the same way every night, and they make it so difficult for you to win. And I've seen Logan Thompson. He's 19-2 and 2.
Hottest
He has
goal in
been
the league.
So good. I mean, unless he falls apart, and I don't see that happening. They've got the size, as you've said. They've got great speed up front. They got youth and they've got age. And I do think they're going to make a deal at the deadline too. And they've got depth. They've got the #1 team in the American Hockey League with great players to be able to call up if you need them in a pinch. This team just does not seem to lose, and they don't give up more than 2 goals every game. I think they're real.
Up the middle of the ice. I still wonder about that too. Up the middle of the ice. Come playoff time.
Maybe they're not real if they're robotic, Bruce.
No, they play the same way every night. They don't have a bad game. We can watch the Leafs that could be unbelievable one night and then mediocre the next night. I don't see the Caps ever having a bad game.
Okay, let's talk about the Maple Leafs because they are coming off a bad game.
Yes.
And let's tread lightly here, Hayes, because you're on the radio in Toronto Monday to Friday.
I know.
Are the Leafs real or not?
I feel like I'm going to go back and forth on this. I'm going to say for real, Sarah, but I understand people are going to look at me and say, how can you possibly believe in them come playoff time because of their history? And I understand that. But you continue to go to the well with the best players in the game. And they have 3 of the 20 best players in the game, and Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. And those are the question marks. I think the other questions have been largely answered. McCabe and Tanev is a true top pairing defenseman. I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson is a guy, now that he's won a cup, he is going to help them come playoff time. And one of these 2 goalies, Joseph Woll or Anthony Stolarz, I think will give them enough in net to have faith in the goaltending position. So I am going to say they are for real.
Well, I'm going to say they're for real, too. I mean, obviously, I'm a Toronto fan.
You're
Toronto
an
alumni. I mean, you're right. They've got 3 of the best 20 forwards in the league. Plus, John Tavares is having a career
great year.
And I think this little injury that he's had is going to rest him up, and he'll be better when he comes back. They've got 2 of the best 2 goalie tandem outside of Washington I think I've seen all year. And their defense is big. They've gotten bigger. They've gotten stronger. So I think they're for real. I'd like to see them get a little more depth on their 3rd and 4th line so that they might contribute a little bit more to the offense. But I think with everything that's been said and shown about the Leafs for years, these guys are ready to make that move right now.
Okay, and how about the Leafs' biggest rivals to the east, the Montreal Canadiens? Making this playoff push here, are they for real?
I'm going to say they are for real in terms of making the playoff push. Now, they have been
I
red
saw an
hot
eye roll.
recently. They've been red hot recently. They're getting great goaltending recently. I'm curious to see if that's going to continue. But this is more about the other teams they're competing with, because the other teams don't look great. And sometimes it is about backdooring into the playoffs. And Montreal's put themselves into that position. Boston doesn't look great right now. Columbus is good. They're not great. Ottawa's good. They're not great. The Rangers have been a mess all year. Pittsburgh's old, and who knows what they're going to do in the future between now and the trade deadline. So 91, 92 points might get in. And as of right now, Montreal is trending towards that. They've been great recently. Credit to Marty St. Louis, pushing the right buttons.
You know what? It's not real, but they're doing great.
Yes.
I think everything is going towards next year, and they're ahead of schedule. I mean, in these last 15 games, they've beaten the best teams in the league on the road or at home, but I just don't think they can keep it up. I mean, I'd like to be able to think that they could keep it up, and they end up in the playoffs, but I think in the end, they're going to end up with about 89 to 90 points, and they're going to just miss it, but it's going to bode super well for the summer and for what Montreal wants to accomplish next year, where they will become now all of a sudden a favorite to make the playoffs full time.
Yeah, it's such a tight race there in the East, and Coach didn't go too hard on you.
No,
it
took it very easy on me.
It was good.
I appreciate
Thanks,
that.
guys.